The Democrats got absolutely humiliated at a sanctuary cities and states hearing today, and it was absolutely lit. But before we get into the story, please like, comment, and share at Explain America. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, the sanctuary states and cities hearing brought out a couple of Democratic governors who you might be familiar with, and let's just say that they got completely embarrassed, dressed down in a very serious way, don't get us wrong. There were criminal aliens were highlighted, and about the threat that the Democratic governors are posing to American citizens, the violence that they are aiding and abetting by allowing criminal aliens to take root in this country, shielding them from ICE, shielding them from federal law enforcement who are trying desperately to find these criminal aliens. We're talking about murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, human traffickers, the worst of the worst. And the Democrats are standing up for these criminal aliens. They literally don't want any deportations. Now, you might be scratching your head and wondering, why would they do that? Well, they think this is going to give them more political power, even through the U.S. Census. Having more illegal aliens bolsters their numbers and gives them more representation in Congress, gives them more federal funding so they can continue their social welfare state, Cloward Piven, if you're familiar, scheme of trying to destroy our economy. There are, by some estimates, above 40 million illegal aliens, if not close to 50 million illegal aliens. You've heard the talking point in the media that there are just 20 million Americans, or 20 million illegal aliens in this country in America. And that is a lowball number that comes from a study that was like years ago. It was around 2018. And we believe that at least 10 million illegal aliens came in under Joe Biden alone. So this number, these are rookie numbers. You know, the Democrats pumped those numbers way up, if you know the Wolf of Wall Street line. And, you know, the Republicans, they actually did a good job grilling these governors, hurting them politically. Now, this is just optics, but the optics are horrible, and the Democrats are taking a huge hit. Their popularity, their approval rating right now, according to Quinnipiac, is at 20%. Donald Trump's, according to Rasmussen, is right above 50%. And we saw on CNN recently, we showed it here on Explain America, how even legal immigrants approve of Donald Trump deporting illegal aliens. Legal immigrants. And, you know, the Democrats are tanking, and this kind of hearing is not going to help. So let's take a look at Congressman Tom Emmer, absolutely hammering Minnesota Governor Tim Walz of BLM riot infamy in Congress today. Watch.
Work with law enforcement to enforce the law. In May 2020, looting, acts of violence, and arson occurred on your watch in Minneapolis after you refused to bring in the National Guard. Governor, your agenda is clear. Free health care, free college and driver's licenses for illegals while handcuffing law enforcement when they're trying to protect our citizens and their communities. If you think that's not a sanctuary state, you shouldn't be governor. By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators. You have sent a resounding message that if you're a hardworking, law-abiding citizen of Minnesota, your safety and well-being are not the priorities of Tim Walz and his administration. But if you're coming to our state illegally, you're not only welcome with open arms, you're entitled to free stuff on the taxpayer's dime. This is absolutely disgraceful. Governor Walz, your sanctuary state agenda has been defined by your utter failure. You have failed to enforce the rule of law. You have failed to uphold our national sovereignty. And most importantly, you have failed the people of Minnesota. The time for radical sanctuary state policy, sir, is over. The voters made that clear last November when they elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. You remember him, don't you? Governor, the time for real leaders and real leadership is now. And with that, sir, actually, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to introduce into the record the governor's tweet that I referenced from May 23rd, 2018, which makes it clear his hatred for federal law enforcement. Thank you.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Chair recognizes Mr. Mfume.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I have a unanimous consent request, and I'd like to present.
And New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik was just as good, if not better, at grilling New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who I don't know how she's in office. She can thank Cuomo for resigning and finding, just falling upwards, because she's one of the most incompetent, disastrous, and, I would say personally, dingbats to even become governor in the United States in history. So let's just watch her getting absolutely eviscerated at the congressional hearing today. Watch.
Thank you. Governor Hochul, on your first day in office, you signed Executive Order 1. Is that correct?
I believe it is.
And you extended this executive order not once, not twice, but 3 times, most recently January 16th of this year. Is that correct?
If that's what your facts show, I signed countless executive orders.
I would assume you'd know it's Executive Order 1. And this is a continuation of your predecessor's sanctuary state policies, correct? Is included in that.
I want to be sure we are defining sanctuary state properly.
I'll define it for you. It is the policy of the state that state officers or employees shall not disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement. It goes on to say, law enforcement officers may not use resources, equipment, or personnel for the purpose of detecting and apprehending any individual suspected or wanted for violating a civil immigration office. Law enforcement officers have no authority in the state of New York to take any policy action solely because the person is an undocumented alien. That's a quote in your executive orders that you extended. Now, do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to get back to the first part.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to make sure you understand that this simply says that we will cooperate with ICE.
No, it does not say that. I read what it says, and let me talk to you about the results. Do you know who Sakir Akan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not. This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car, he took her clothes off, and he violently raped her in Albany, New York. Do you know who Sebastian Zapita Khalil is?
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're...
These are high-profile cases. Yes. New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. So let's talk about Sebastian Zapita Khalil. Do you know who that is?
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive. This is in Kathy Hochul's New York. And as I'm sure you are aware, and I'll remind you, that ICE issued an order to detain this violent criminal, but that was rejected by New York officials due to sanctuary state laws. Now, do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this. These crimes are horrific.
Because of your sanctuary state policies.
In all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove them.
You did not in this case. They are walking on the streets because of your policies and your executive order that you signed 3 times. Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. I will explain to you the policies of New York. We cooperate with, I know you're just trying to.
You do not. Specifically, ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a woman alive on the New York subways in Kathy Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell you who that is. He is an illegal who molested an 11-year-old in our state because, again, of your sanctuary state policies. This illegal was shielded from federal immigration enforcement and able to commit this heinous crime. And what about Wilson Castillo-Diaz? Do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. We do cooperate fully with ICE in criminal prosecution. Our sanctuary
You're not advocating for these victims.
Only deal with
This is a 5-year-old who was raped on Long Island in Nassau County. You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. Even in your opening statement,
That is
you
not
prioritize putting illegals first.
That is not
Rapes
true.
of young girls, beatings of NYPD cops by illegals who are here under Kathy Hochul's failed policies, burning New Yorkers alive. This is Kathy Hochul's New York. It's one of the many reasons why you're hemorrhaging support from hardworking New York
These are
families.
horrific crimes, and they're heartbreaking.
They're horrific crimes that are committed on your watch. You signed this executive order on your first day in office. You signed it again and again this January. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
Rather than
the
going
chairman's...
after the viral moment, I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers.
No.
Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders. Instead of advocating for victims, a 5-year-old who was raped,
with ICE.
you did not. They were released because of sanctuary state policies in New York State. No amount of words is going to clean up your failed record and these horrific crimes committed in sanctuary state that you created. And with that, I yield back.
Your representation, the facts,
Gentlelady
absolutely false.
yields back.
Absolutely
Chair
false.
recognizes Ms. Norton.